What's going on, Monster Jam fans, and welcome to Let's Drive, with the series where we take your favorite monster trucks out for a spin and discuss their career from the very beginning until today. Well, as you can see, we are out driving man's best friend, a very good boy, Monster Mutt. Monster Mutt is a custom-bodied, dog-themed monster truck owned by, of course, Feld Motorsports and currently driven by Chris Kohler. Since its debut in 2003, the truck has become a staple of Monster Jam events and a fan favorite for its unique design, competing in 18 World Finals events and winning the Freestyle Championship under Charlie Pauken in 2010. Its popularity has inspired the creation of several spin-offs, most based on different dog breeds. In 2000, Clear Channel Motorsports planned on debuting two new monster trucks. One was going to be called the Junkyard Dog, which would be a brown 1955 Chevrolet Cameo, and Hulk, a 1950 Mercury Street Rod based off of Marvel's character the Hulk. However, both of these designs ended up being canceled. Junkyard Dog would be converted into the fire truck themed Radical Rescue as a tribute to the firefighters who'd lost their lives in the 9/11 attacks, while Hulk's body was reportedly made but never painted. Before the 2003 season began, it was decided that Junkyard Dog's theming and Hulk's Mercury body would be combined into one singular truck. The result was a brown Mercury monster truck with ears, teeth, a tongue, and a red collar, simply known and loved as we know him today, Monster Mutt. On January 3rd, 2003, Monster Mutt made its competition debut in Oakland on the former Firemouth chassis with Chad Reed behind the wheel. His time as a driver would be very short-lived, however, as he'd retire immediately afterwards due to a family emergency. Todd Frolic took his place for the rest of the year, bringing Monster Mutt to its first World Finals event. The next year, a second Monster Mutt was added to the team as Bobby Z and Brian Winston would take over driving duties following Frolic's retirement. Z and the truck would be invited to compete in World Finals 5 and 6. Monster Mutt's signature tail would debut at the latter event, albeit a very thin version of it. George Ballhan would campaign the truck in the 2005 European Tour, while Cassie Christensen drove the ill-fitting body of a Minsk chassis for select shows that year. Monster Mutt also made exhibition appearances in Europe to promote Monster Jam television broadcasts, including at the 24 Hours of Zolder and the 24 Hours of Spa in Belgium. In 2006, Lee O'Donnell joined the team for that year, while Jim Lenertz drove the truck in Sacramento as a fill-in. Gravedigger driver Charlie Pauken would run as Monster Mutt as World Finals 7, being his first World Finals event since 2000, and it was the first time of him driving Monster Mutt. He'd end up getting third place in freestyle. Frolic would return to driving Monster Mutt for 3 shows in West Lebanon. Z and Winston would both retire by the end of the year and were succeeded by Mike Wine and Alex Blackwell. Monster Mutt's first spin-off, Monster Mutt Dalmatian, made its debut in 2007 and was driven by Candice Jolly. Pauken would drive the truck at World Finals 8, leaping over an ice cream truck and actually landing on its roof. In 2008, Whit Tarleton would join the team, sharing drival duties with Wine. Blackwell would compete as Monster Mutt in the 2008 European Tour before leaving the team. He'd end up winning the freestyle tiebreaker over Tom Meents in Maximum Destruction. Gary Porter would also drive the truck in the 4-wheel Jamboree National Show in Springfield. Pauken continues to drive the Monster Mutt at World Finals 9 and 10, getting 8th and 7th place in freestyle respectively. Wine would leave the team following that season to drive backwards Bob, while Lee would rejoin the team, sharing driving duties with Tarleton. In 2010, O'Donnell and Tarleton left the team to drive Iron Man and Spider-Man. Dana Creech and Ryan Anderson would take their places, while Paul Cohen would drive the truck in Atlanta. Pauken would drive Monster Mutt yet again at World Finals 11, finally winning the Freestyle Championship with a near-perfect score of 39. Chad Tingler also would run the body on Gravedigger 14 in Philadelphia. Barry Musauer would drive the truck in Guadalajara. A lot of drivers that year. In 2011, Ryan would leave the team to drive his new son-uva digger truck, and former 2 Extreme Racing driver Joe Miller would take his place. Additionally, Monster Mutt Rottweiler, driven by Charles Benz, is introduced as Monster Mutt's second spin-off. Carl Van Horn would drive the truck in Philadelphia, and the following year, Witt would rejoin the team after Creech retired from driving. Taryn Lasky would end up driving the truck in the Stafford Springs and Gothenburg events. Miller would retire from driving in 2013, leaving Tarleton as Monster Mutt's sole driver until he also retired at the end of the 2014 season. Former Ironman driver Dustin Brown began driving Monster Mutt on a new CRD chassis, competing in the inaugural Fox Sports 1 Championship Series. He'd claimed 3 freestyle wins and 2 obstacle course wins, finishing in 3rd place. At World Finals 16, Dustin would make it to the semi-final round of racing, beating drivers such as Dennis Anderson, Neil Elliott, and Lindsey Week before crashing against Todd LeDuc in Metal Militia. On November 2nd, 2015, a 3D body for Monster Mutt, similar in shape and style to Rottweiler's newer body from the year before, was teased. Renders of both it and the Dalmatians' new looks would be released at the end of the month. One day later, a 3rd Monster Mutt spin-off, Monster Mutt Junkyard Dog, was announced, being a beat-up version of the original Mercury design. Monster Mutt's 3D redesign would debut at Birmingham in January of 2016 with rookie driver Bryce Kenny behind the wheel. Brown left the team to drive the Junkyard Dog. Pauken would return to drive the Mutt at World Final 17, while John Zimmer would drive it in East Rutherford. Near the end of the season, Kenny would leave the team to drive Great Clips Mohawk Warrior, and Kevin Crocker took over with a new Race Source chassis, serving as the new teammate to Pablo Huffaker and Gravedigger. The following year, Crocker and the truck would compete in Monster Jam Arena Championship Series 5. Pauken would drive the truck yet again at World Finals 18, while Cynthia Gauthier takes control for that year's European Tour. In 2018, Crocker competed in the Monster Jam Arena Championship Series and retired after the first quarter. Gauthier drives the truck again at World Finals 19. Shane Freed would succeed Crocker, only to step away from driving the truck after Pablo's retirement in May, leaving Monster Mutt without a full-time driver for the rest of the year. Meanwhile, on the Australian Tour, a Monster Mutt Buddy was run on the Buddy chassis with Jack Monkhouse behind the wheel. 2 Monster Mutts would be run for the next season, both on independent chassis. Tanner Root would campaign the name on the Iron Outlaw for Triple Threat Series West, while Kevin King would run the body on Team Scream's Racing Axe chassis for Stadium Championship Series 3. Fellow Team Scream drivers Brad Allen and Jim Kohler would also drive the truck in Huntsville and New Orleans respectively. Tyler Sanger drives the truck for the Sunday events in Rosemont, and another Monster Mutt would run in the first year's Australian Tour, this time being driven by Hayden McLeary on the Raptors Rampage chassis. In 2020, Root would again run as Monster Mutt on the same chassis and tour as last year, while Aaron Basil would run the body on the Ice Cream Man chassis for Triple Threat Series East. However, the entire 2020 season would abruptly end in March due to the pandemic, and Monster Mutt would be temporarily shelved for the next 2 years before making its return in 2022, this time with Pauken as its full-time driver. He competed in Stadium Championship Series Yellow, getting multiple racing and freestyle victories and finishing in 4th place overall. He'd make his first World Finals appearance since 2018 that year, getting 2nd place in freestyle. In 2023, Chris Kohler became Monster Mutt's primary driver, as Pauken would primarily compete in international events for the year in Megalodon. Running the body on the Brutus chassis, he competed in Stadium Championship Series Blue. Throughout the season, Chris would become known for his chaotic saves and sidewalls, getting several wins and finishing in 10th place. He made his first World Finals appearance that same year, performing 2 back-to-back saves and getting 6th place in freestyle. Later, he would also receive the Rookie of the Year award alongside Megalodon driver Ashley Sanford. Chris drove the truck for the Superstar Challenge in Anaheim for Team Neon. In 2024, Chris drove the truck again on the Brutus chassis for the West Stadium Tour and finished 7th. In Detroit, the truck ran as Northern Nightmare and would win one of the freestyles. In El Paso, Texas, Chris would win his first overall event championship along with freestyle for that show. Chris was again invited to compete in the last chance qualifying event at the World Finals. He didn't win, making this the 2nd World Finals without the truck since 2002. Well guys, that was a whole lot about Monster Mutt. Every dog has his day, and I think Monster Mutt's best days are still in front of him. I had so much fun, as always, learning about this particular monster truck. So I have a question for you. What truck do you want to learn about next? This truck was recommended by Liam, so I really read those comments and really take to heart what you guys want to see and learn about, so make sure you let me down below. Before you leave though, do me a favor and like the video. Make sure you're subscribed and check back often, because we have brand new Monster Jam videos all throughout the week. So until next time, I need you to be good to one another. Always treat others the way you would want to be treated. And until next week, we